what do you see are some of the most common challenges that leaders are dealing with during this crisis? Wondered if who might want to take a first stab at that.
I'm happy to jump in.
First,
Christina Moffatt.
Christina, go for it.
I can jump in real quick. Just from a small business perspective, a lot of small businesses are facing issues of reduced staff, being back full-time, kind of catching all those extra jobs. But one thing I want to point out that the public is not really aware of is that besides being leaders and facing the challenges in their businesses, is that a lot of our small businesses have personally leveraged their homes. All their assets are tied to their businesses. So as they look at challenges with their business, in the back of their minds is also that challenge of losing all their personal assets and their homes that are tied to those loans. So as they're making plans strategically for their small businesses, they're also having to keep that in the back of their mind of how to maintain their home and their families as well.
Yeah, and my name is Matthew, and I do wear a couple hats. First, as a partner at Baton, and then also as a teacher and professor at Drake University. And so I am very cognizant of the personal tolls this takes on our students and our business owners. You know, we have stories of young women and team members that are pregnant and they don't know sort of what's coming next for them, or they're in retail, or they're providing for their families. So that's the human side of this. And I would say as leaders, you know, taking that first step to listen first, to relate to folks, albeit virtually, you know, relate to them and identify and bring out that humanity. And then the second challenge I find leaders facing is just scrambling for correct information. Who do they trust in this moment? And then how do they take that information and make subsequent plans? Because they got to secure their physical assets, they got to secure their personal assets, and all of that, I think, happens instantaneously and continuously. So this is it's a fast-paced and continuously challenging time. Joe?
This is Eileen Wixted, and I think what we find here with our clients, we have large clients that are publicly traded. We also have medium-sized clients. We have a lot in the healthcare arena, but we also have small businesses. But whether you are large or small, I think leaders today are striving to really find a way to communicate and connect with their internal stakeholders. So they want to be able to communicate with their customers, but they have to be able to lead their internal stakeholders in a new and different way. And so it's really interesting. The first thing that we always tell our clients from a communication standpoint, you know, a good leader frequently needs to be a good communicator. And now more than ever, when people aren't just down the hallway and you have to be able to reach out and touch and see, that communication skill and test is really put to the test. And so we talk about leading with the heart first, build empathy and common ground. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care is a very, you know, well-worn quote from years ago, but it's so very true. And so these leaders who are more of command and control, this is a very difficult type of crisis because you've got uncertainty and you don't have a lot of answers. So we talk about leading with heart first. Second, from a content standpoint, think about what is your mission and purpose, and always communicate on mission and purpose. And lastly, when everybody's looking for specificity, everybody has more questions than they do have answers. Be confident and comfortable saying, I don't have a lot of the answers, but here's the process we're going to take to figure out those answers together. And so it's really that sort of leading from within and moving it forward as one.
Yeah, this is John Sarvis. I'll weigh in on this as well. You know, I can speak to here at the bank. You know, we're doing many of the same things we always have, but to Eileen's point, we're doing them very differently. We have customers who are accustomed to interacting with us in a variety of different ways. Some of our customers are very familiar with our digital channels, with our e-banking platform, and they're more than comfortable using that. We have another group of customers that's used to coming into our branches and talking face-to-face and sitting down with their loan officer and sitting down with their customer service representative and having their business needs met that way. You know, during these times, our branches are closed, the lobbies are closed, the drive-ups are still open. So we're dealing with, you know, educating some of our customers on how to interact with us in this kind of this new normal. And as well, we're finding different ways to communicate with them in attempts to meet them and meet their demands and meet their needs where they're at this time. And for our customer base, which is very diverse, a lot of times that means very different ways of communicating with very different needs for those different groups.
My name is Jeff Goetz, and I'm the chair of the Bankruptcy and Reorganization Practice Group at the Bradshaw, Fowler, Proctor, and Fairgrave law firm here in downtown Des Moines. As you can tell from the practice group, we're providing and have been legal advice and counsel to our existing clients and new clients coming in. One of the things that I would want to say is that how we're looking at this is there are companies, small businesses especially, who were relatively healthy prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. And they're facing for the first time financial and business operational challenges. Those folks, we're looking to what's available under the government programs. But I've been very frank with clients that although I've been doing bankruptcy and reorganization for quite a few years, we don't really have a playbook for this. And therefore, a lot of the advice, initial advice we're giving is, I would put more in the category of general common sense business advice. The other group are those businesses, especially small businesses, that might have been under some level of financial distress prior to the pandemic, and now they've got a whole new world of hurt, and the approach for those folks is very different.